We're going to move on to our fifth and final main topic today. And our fifth and final main topic today gets submitted to us by Ed Medina, who writes, So, originally, I thought Robert De Niro was the clear frontrunner for being nominated for acting awards this season for The Irishman. You're not alone, Ed. You are not alone. Recently, though, nominations for the Golden Globes and the SAG Awards came out, and he wasn't nominated for either. It seems that instead, Pacino and Pesci are being nominated for supporting actor roles. Could De Niro still be nominated for a lead actor award at the Oscars? All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, man. Now, look, yeah, you guys know what I think about the Golden Globes. In the words of my father, they are as useless as tits on a bull. So there's absolutely no function or reason for them to exist. However, that said, they have become, along with some other things, one of the mild barometers out there leading into the actual Oscars. There's often some symmetry between what happens at the Golden Globes and the Oscars. Often not, but sometimes there is. The SAG Awards just came out the other day. Of course, Aaron and I talked about the SAG Award nominations, which I take much more seriously than the Golden Globes. But absent from both of them, and you know what, because I don't care about the Golden Globes, De Niro missing from that one, I didn't care. The fact that Robert De Niro, which I really thought, now, I don't love The Irishman as much as most people do. I think The Irishman is great. I think it's great. But even I, though I don't like it quite as much as some other people do, I thought for sure Irishman is Robert De Niro's movie. This is his film. And he carries that movie. Fabulous supporting work by Joe Pesci, by Al Pacino. Absolutely, no doubt about it. But it's all centered around and built around Robert De Niro's performance, which I thought was incredible. And so the SAG nominations were coming out that, well, Robert De Niro's going to get that. And he didn't. He didn't. So what do we have right now? We have a situation where the Golden Globe Awards got and our lead actors nominated were Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes, Adam Driver for Marriage Story. That's not a surprise to anybody. A little bit of a surprise was Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory. Not a surprise was Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, and Christian Bale got nominated for Ford v Ferrari, and he is fantastic in Ford v Ferrari, by the way. But no Robert De Niro. Surely in the SAGs. But then we get to the SAGs yesterday. Adam Driver again is there. Taron Egerton gets a nomination for Rocket Man, which I was surprised by. I like Taron Egerton in Rocket Man, by the way. No surprise, Joaquin Phoenix for Joker. No surprise, Christian Bale for Ford v Ferrari. And Leonardo DiCaprio, no surprise, for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. What is a bit of a surprise, though, is that Leonardo DiCaprio did not get nominated in the Golden Globe run. So out of the two awards, we've got 7 actors that have been mentioned. 3 of them twice, and 4 of them only once.
Well, Taron Egerton is nominated for Best Actor in a Musical or a Comedy.
Did they put that in a musical comedy?
Yes.
Oh,
Rocket
okay.
Man.
So maybe we'll have to put...
so he technically is nominated for a Golden Globe and a SAG, just a different category.
But not for
Golden
the
Globe.
dramatic one. There you go.
Right.
So in this field, though, we've got 7, and none of the 7 are Robert De Niro. And of course, the Academy Awards, the Oscars, will only have 5. There will only be 5 spots. Adam Driver getting one of them is a no duh. I mean that's just a foregone conclusion. He is probably, in my estimation right now, probably the front runner to win. The other right up there that is a no duh nomination is going to be Joaquin Phoenix, who, if there's anybody really going to give competition to Adam Driver for that award, it's going to be Joaquin Phoenix. I think Leonardo DiCaprio is getting this role. I know he didn't get the Golden Globe nomination, but he might have got it for musical or comedy. Yeah, that's right, because I believe Golden Globes might have considered that. This is one of the reasons why I hate the Golden Globes. Anyway, but Leonardo DiCaprio, I believe, is going to get one of those spots as well.
It's in comedy.
I actually would have put Matt Damon for Ford v Ferrari
over
above Christian Bale.
Yeah.
I love them both. I thought they were both terrific in it.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
I actually thought Matt Damon was a little bit better in it, but there's that. So that there are still 1 or 2 spots there. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you what, the Pope, 2 popes, I should say, I cannot believe I'm saying this, because 2 weeks ago I would have said no effing way, but today I'm thinking Robert De Niro. I'd put him on it. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's going to get on the list. I don't think he's getting one of these spots the way it's going. And I am shocked because I would put him on that list. But I'm not shocked because I would have it, because there's lots of Academy Award nominations that I would put on there that don't get. I am shocked because I thought everybody in the industry was going to put him on there. And from the buzz and the talk, it sounded like it's going to happen. But now that these barometers are coming out, SAG, Golden Globes, some other, now that these barometers are coming out, it's like, it's starting to look like if he does get in, he's going to squeak in. And that's really shocking to me. Aaron, let me ask you two separate questions. Number one, should De Niro be in that final 5 list for the Academy Award nominations? Number two, are you surprised that these barometer events are happening without him being in there? And could the world be shocked and he'd not actually get one of these spots? How are you seeing this?
Well, yes, of course he should. His performance, phenomenal. He is a Hollywood icon. He's never, even in silly comedies, he never phones it in. You always see Robert De Niro coming with the goods. If I may, it reminds me of a little bit of a story. Back in one of the many things that I did for free was I used to run help with auditions. I was a reader, I ran camera, and I did that for casting offices because I wanted to see what the other side sees. And I was invited to run the camera during the screen test of the actresses for the lead role in this new television series. And so for a screen test, they bring in usually 4 or 5 actors, and they each test up against one another. When I saw the 3 out of the 4 actresses who were reading for this lead role, I was shocked. I was like, this one girl can barely even speak English. This other girl can barely tap dance and chew gum at the same time. I don't even know why they're testing these people. And so I asked the casting director, and she said, when we know that we want a clear-cut winner, we don't put a lot of other potential winners in with them. We like to guide the producers, where we want them to go. And so this is kind of reminding me of that, is if I know that I really want Joaquin Phoenix to win the Academy Award or to win the Golden Globe, am I also going to nominate Robert De Niro, who I know is going to give him a run for his money? Maybe not. If I know that I want Adam Driver to win, am I going to? So I'm wondering if there might be on the part of the nominating committee a little bit of that, is I don't want Robert De Niro has his Oscar. I want to let somebody else in there. Maybe that's a part of it. I don't know. But at this point, it is looking very iffy because his name's just not in the conversation now. And if I'm on the nominating committee for the Academy Awards, his name's just not coming up as much. So I'm just going, these are the ones that we're being led to. And I think that's why the Golden Globes has so often been a precursor to telling what's going to happen with the Oscars, is because those are the names that the nominating committees are hearing more often. And it's an automatic campaign.
But here's the thing that I always find interesting, is that the Oscar nominations, it's not the same people who come up with the nominations for all the different categories.
I know.
There are different, I'm telling our audience, I know you know this.
Well, right, yeah, sorry. The Hollywood Foreign Press Association for the Golden Globes.
Right, the Academy has different branches. There's the director's branch, there's the actor's branch, there's a whole bunch of different branches. And it's the individual branches that come up with the nominee list. Once the nominee list is done, then the whole Academy will vote on the winners overall. What is fascinating to me, and we talked about this a little bit the other day, is that who's in the actors branch of the Academy? SAG members. Yeah. Actors, SAG members. And the SAG Awards just did their numbers. And here's the thing too, I'm like, well, let's say you want Adam Driver to win, right? Mm-hmm. You don't nominate Joaquin Phoenix.
I know.
Right? So, I mean...
So my theory doesn't really work in that aspect. That's,
But plus, you're talking about hundreds of members of this branch. I don't know that there's a coordinator, but I'm just...
No, there's a meeting.
Right,
we all get together at all the actors in Hollywood. Yep. Even we all get. Chris was there last week.
You just have to show your SAG card.
Yeah, we all get together and we talk about who we want to blackball out of the Oscars.
It's nice. We have hot dogs.
What?
We have hot dogs.
We have hot dogs. Join SAG.
No, you're right. There's not. I'm just saying, as an individual, that's where my head goes. And you're right. There are totally different. What I mean is, if I am on the nominating committee for the Academy Awards in the actor category, and I'm seeing all of the Golden Globe buzz. Yes, I know that the Golden Globes are a totally separate thing and the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, blah, blah, blah. But I'm still hearing these 5 names over and over and over again. So Robert De Niro, while a month ago may have been my top choice, kind of just starts to fade into the background. I don't really necessarily, I don't have him. It's why advertising works. It's that repetition of, oh, I see that same Downy commercial, Downy. When I'm going to look for a paper towel roll, yeah, I know that there's lots of other options, but oh yeah, I've been seeing that a lot and I automatically gravitate towards it. That's advertising. And so I look at these early award shows, and they're automatic advertising for different movies and actors who are going to be in the consciousness of people who are going to be nominating for the Academy Awards.
It's just odd to me. Chris, you're looking at this whole thing. How are you interpreting it? Do you think De Niro, number one, deserves a spot on the Oscar top 5? And then the second question is, do you think he's actually going to get, do you think he's going to be on there?
I mean, first of all, I'm just still spiraling from Aaron explaining those producer meetings. And now I'm like, has everyone used me as just a buffer for casting? Oh, God, this is why. I don't think De Niro is going to make it into the Oscar list. I really don't, just because these do tend to be the precursor for who we're going to see on those short lists. This is kind of everyone narrowing it down, and the Academy kind of seems like they almost go through and cherry pick stuff. Because also the Academy's changing. Everyone who votes is changing. But we also see a lot of the same people and the same type of people being nominated over and over again for things. So it would be refreshing to see some new blood in here. That being said, I still haven't seen The Irishman, so I really can't weigh in on De Niro's performance. I haven't had 3 hours to watch it. I'm excited to. 3.5. I am excited to see it, honestly. As much like poo as I've talked the past few weeks to, being like, well, I like Marvel movies, so you guys should really stop being mean to the things that I like and stop yucking my yum and don't be mean, Marty. I haven't heard a lot about De Niro's performance, if I'm being completely honest, too. I've had a whole bunch of people talk to me about how amazing Pesci is and how he's a treasure, and finally, for once, he's getting really, really the recognition he deserves. But I've heard so much more about all those other actors that we went through than I have about Robert De Niro's performance. So I feel like that's pretty telling, too.
Question here is, guys, to you. 2 separate questions. 1, do you think Robert De Niro deserves to be on the top 5 list? And who do you bump out if you do put him on there? And number 2, do you think he will be on there? Those could be 2 different questions. Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys. With all that...